Fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019, 100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. You can find out more at CraigsTaxService.com. John Dingens with the privilege of having Coach Kevin Creasy here with me this morning. We just talked to the opposing coach you've got next week. His game was a little different than your game.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's a big win over at Blackman. I thought they did a great job of beating just a powerhouse, well-coached powerhouse team like Maryville. Not every team could do that. I know Blackman's had a great year, but a lot of people would just be like, oh, here comes, the boogeyman into the house, and we just got to lay down and let them take the win and go back to East Tennessee and play on Thanksgiving like they always do. But a lot of credit's got to be given to Blackman and Matt Kreisky doing a heck of a job over there.
We want to talk about your game. I know I got a text from a fan last night, and it said, they're killing us with the penalties. Okay, so I want to get that out of the way first.
Yeah.
There were a lot of them.
Yeah, there were a lot of penalties, just tremendous amount of flags, and we've been a disciplined football team all year. We jumped off sides, I think, 8 times. We felt like there was a reason we were jumping off sides. Warned the referees about it. It was a no-go. Ended up having some flags on Green Hill as well. So, they were dispersing them pretty regularly, and, there were some controversial calls, a guy down at the 3-yard line, knee hits the ground. But, it was like on second down, so he might have got in anyway. And then a ball rolls out of the back of the end zone, and the guy jumps on it, and they call it a touchdown instead of a touchback. Just one thing after another. But, those things happen. And how you respond to it makes all the difference. At the end of the day, Green Hill had a great plan. I thought they did a good job of executing it. They had 39 seniors, 10 of them start on offense. I think 8 of them start on defense. Special teams, they had seniors galore. They didn't want their season to end, and I thought they came out and played us great and probably deserved to win. I thought our guys responded well in the fourth quarter, and like I said, overcame a lot of bad things happening to us. So give credit to our seniors as well.
Didn't panic, evidently. I mean, and when you talk about the fourth quarter, we're talking 6 minutes into the fourth quarter, really. I mean, it happened fast, didn't it?
It did. Down 2 scores, it kind of reminded me a little bit of last year. Our guys last year, they just came from behind in the second, third, fourth, and championship game. We were behind in all 4 of those games last year in the playoffs and fought back. But, you keep getting behind, it's going to catch up to you. And, we were real fortunate to come out with a win last night.
You like ball control. You like keeping the ball out of the opponent's hands. And it was, I think, a big. Were they not almost going to score at the end of the first half?
Yeah.
And y'all held them.
Yeah.
That was a crucial play, I thought.
Yeah. I thought they did a good job, moving the ball on us and, putting on. I think they scored more points than anybody had in the first half. They went over 100 yards rushing, which we hadn't allowed 100 yards rushing all year. But when it counted, our defense stepped it up. Our defense caused a fumble inside the 10-yard line. They stopped them from scoring right before the half. But again, Green Hill answered the bell, and they stopped us from scoring right before the half. We have 2 opportunities in the red zone, throw passes to, one 6'3" receiver, one 6'5.5" receiver, and neither one of them come down with it. So a lot of credit's got to be given to Green Hill, and I thought Coach Crouch did a great job.
what was going through your head? I'm a little scared to even ask this. What was going through your head when it was 17-7? I mean that, and the fourth quarter had started, and maybe you cut it to 14. I'm not sure about 3, but it was kind of gloom and doom there for a little
Yeah,
bit.
it was. We were in some rough spots, but we would get 7 yards on first down and walk up to the line on 2nd and 3, and then next thing you know, we get a 5-yard penalty for somebody flinching or the center snapping it earlier. So just little bitty things that turn 2nd and 3 into 2nd and 8.
Is it not hard to get flow when that happens? I mean, to me that causes an offense.
Yeah, you didn't really get much of a rhythm. We had 3rd and extra long quite a bit. Had to go for it 4 times on 4th down. It's great when you make it, but there were 2 times when we didn't make it and put our defense in some rough spots. And, in the playoffs, you're going to have to make some plays, whether you use 4 downs or 3 downs. And if you don't make it, the defense better be ready to make those guys not be able to convert on 4th down. So it was, some people say an ugly game. Some people say it's one of the best games they've seen. Ultimately, it was a bunch of hard-nosed senior kids on both teams that refused for their season to be over. And, last year, Green Hill played Blackman in the first round, came in highly touted. I think they were undefeated and gave Blackman a heck of a game for a half. And then next thing you know, Blackman blew their doors off. And so they reamped their schedule, got tougher opponents. And Green Hill came in, I think, 10-2, but their 2 losses were to Page and Ravenwood, 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we faced a heck of an opponent, and I think
they kind of slid under the radar with everybody,
yeah,
in terms of that too.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just the coaches that are trying to, give those guys a heads up in the locker room, like, hey, these guys are for real. They got a winner at quarterback. They got a number 17 that I absolutely love, man. He scored their first touchdown, I believe, but he played a heck of a game on defense as well. Just overall great football player. But like I said, they had 39 seniors, and they got a lot of pride over there, and they wanted to make sure that their season didn't end. And luckily, somewhere around halftime, our guys decided that too. Second half was a little better to us. Hadn't quite made it through the fourth quarter. I've turned the computer off twice watching it, just trying not to, punch my screen out or whatever. So I've took a few walks this morning, and hopefully I can get back in there and finish it up. But real proud of a couple efforts. Preston Rose, been playing hurt all year, went in and had a heck of a job with our offensive line. And Kyrie Gaynor sealed the deal by picking the ball off at the end of the game. He's having a tremendous senior year. So ultimately, it's one of those deals where you got to lean on those guys that got you there. There comes a point in every game where, they know what you're going to do. We know what they're going to do. That's what was making me so mad. We knew what they were going to do. And, they probably knew what we were going to do. At some point, it comes down to who's the toughest and who's going to out-execute the other one. And we were losing those battles time after time.
I want to mention a few more names here. I guess it's that time to do that, because you have some guys, and these are standard names that pop up. Travion Jackson, he had 7 tackles and a sack. What a year he's had! I mean, it's been crazy. I think we mention him every week.
Every week he is mentioned. Him and Cullen Williams, both inside backers, just usually double-digit tackles. Trayvon's so versatile. We can move him to the D-line. We can move him to linebacker, inside backer, outside backer. Well, this week we moved him to fullback, and he was in on the touchdown drive. He was the reason for the touchdown drive. Just unselfish, found out about a kid, that was hurt. And so we had to make some moves. And sure enough, Trayvon learns offense in like 3 days. Unfortunately, Justice Haggard had surgery this week and is out the rest of his senior year. And
so that news was as bad as you were hoping it wasn't. But
yeah. So, we alluded to it last week. He had an official visit to Southern Miss. He went on that in a boot and came back and got x-rays and had a clean break in his leg. So the surgery went well. He was at the ball game Friday night. The surgery was Friday morning, and you know, you lose a guy like Justice Haggard.
Yeah.
You know, he leads our team in touchdowns. Had a great game last time against Blackman. Played defense for us. So yeah, we had some guys that had to step up, and I thought we did a good job with people filling in for Justice, and ultimately in the second half playing hard. You know, to keep it alive, get our guys to the fourth round.
You to mention Cullen, he had a team high 12 tackles, one for a loss. Here's a guy that he's one of my favorite, Craig Tutt. 15 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown. But in addition, added 5 tackles and a forced fumble. A lot of people don't realize he plays both ways. I mean, and he's one of those rare. I mean, if you can keep people from playing both ways, it's great. But Trayvon and he were playing, you know, offense and defense, and that 92 yards. And I know you try to limit a little bit of his offense where, you know, he can rest, but you had to have him, I guess, last night too.
Oh, yeah. He was in, you know, most of the night on offense. Had a great fourth down. It was 4th and 3, and we run an old tall sweep play, you know, and the dude scores a touchdown. And it gets called back, you know, for a flag. So that was, needless to say, 4th and 8, one of the ones that we didn't make. But Tut showed up big for us. He's going to have to show up big next week if we're going to have a chance. You know, it was one of those deals where we could kind of have a 1-2 punch with him and Justice Haggard, but now, you know, it's on Tut's shoulders, and, you know, he's going to leave a legacy one way or another, and hopefully it's a good one, so we can just rely on him. And, you know, offensive line, you know, they did a heck of a job of blocking for him. And then on defense, you know, Amarion Woods, just, you know, a talented player that's going to go to college and play football, you know, has just been spot playing all year because we're so deep in the back end. Well, now we're getting thin in the back end, and I thought Amarion Woods did a great job of stepping up and making some huge plays for us on defense.
You guys have always been able to do that, though. I mean, I think I don't know if the word's depth, but you have people that can play multiple positions if need be. I mean, that's always been a big help.
That's one thing that is good about, you know, we try to platoon and get people to go one way, but when you got, you know, some special guys that go both ways, then somebody has to practice in their spot. Mm-hmm. And so when Justice would come to offense, Amarion Woods would get plenty of practice time, and then would take Tut, and Amarion would go over there and practice that position. So he's made himself versatile and multiple, and, you know, that's things that guys recruiting people for college are looking for. But he's a versatile guy that can play a couple positions, real talented but real smart as well.
We're talking to Kevin Creasy, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. Now, the secret weapon that is out there that we've talked about several weeks, Dante Cameron. These are his stats: 16 carries, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a game-deciding 78-yard TD run late in the fourth quarter in this comeback over Green Hill last night. He also had a 40-yard completion. Yeah. So what does he mean to your squad? Because you've got 2 quarterbacks, and they're both equally really good. And Dante is kind of taking a step in terms of running the football.
Yeah, you know, our other quarterback, Morton, you know, caught the flu this week. And, you know, we thought, man, this is terrible. You know, flu season's on us. Everybody is going to go through our whole team. Well, you know, he misses school. He misses a Monday practice, which is uncharacteristic for him. But it was, come to find out, a blessing in disguise because it gave Dante every snap, you know. So he wasn't just a part-timer, you know, a half-timer. He got every snap. And because of that, I thought it was huge that on 3rd and 25, he completes a 30-yard completion. You know, he threw basically a touchdown pass that got ripped out right at the end. So, you know, he is a true dual threat guy, and the way he's running the ball is impressive. And the first time we played Blackman, you know, he probably had 1 or 2 carries a game, and we leaned on him heavy. And, you know, that's the thing about it. Blackman's going to be ready for him this time. And it comes down to, are we going to be able to, you know what's coming and they're going to know what's coming, and he's still going to have to be able to execute. And, that's what's going to make this game next Friday really interesting.
It's really a different setup with the way they've redone things, and you're going to be at home, semifinals, but it's not a team that you have to look and scout in terms of you've never played before. This is the two Rutherford County teams. Do you like that? I mean, I think it makes for a lot of excitement in this county that it's a semifinal game and it's right here in our county.
That is cool. I think that's really cool. I wouldn't even mind meeting two Rutherford County teams, in Chattanooga.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when I was an assistant coach. Of course, nobody listened to me then. I was like, man, how good would it be to play at at the time it was at MTSU.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2007. And I was at Riverdale, and I was like, wouldn't it be great to have a Riverdale-Smyrna matchup?
Right.
Sonny Gray over there chucking the ball around on MTSU's campus. And, it's just with the travel, it's just hard to kind of get it where you would match up like that. You almost would have to have a north and a south and an east and a west and kind of.
And there have been years where the 1 and 2 teams in Rutherford County probably were 1 and 2 in the state.
I thought that was one of the years, and unfortunately,
you could argue Riverdale last year was. I mean, they were really good.
Yeah, well, in 07, I thought it was one of those cases where they could have happened like that, and I think back then, just like last year, you had to go back through your region, and so you're eliminating really good teams.
Right.
I think it's pretty cool now that we're in the Final Four, and there's 2 Rutherford County teams. And I don't know, we may be the 4th best. We'll find out. But there's some really good teams in West Tennessee too, or going west. Ravenwood, Southwind, unbelievable. So whoever wins this matchup, we'll have our hands full the next week. But ultimately, it's good that there's going to be a representative from Rutherford County in the state championship.
Looking at the matchup between you and Blackman, to me, you're fairly similar. I mean, you've got 2 quarterbacks that can run the football. You both like to play control football, like to control the clock. They're bigger probably on the line, but you're very fast on the line. I think that's going to be a great, interesting matchup to look at. What are the things you're concentrating on with Blackman? What are the things that you guys want to take away from them? And maybe I don't want to talk about game plan too much, but I know the more they run the ball, the more difficult they're going to be.
Yeah, I think you look at how they've evolved since our game. I think they've gotten better on offense. You got to figure out what they've done to get better on offense. They have 3 good running backs. We have 3 good running backs. They have a dual threat quarterback. We have a dual threat. They got some weapons at wide receiver. We got weapons at wide receiver. Their defense is really good. Our defense is really good. I think a lot of credit's got to be given to Matt Kreisky, to look at where they came from. This just 3 years ago, the program was not at the standard they wanted it to be, and he went through some tough times, and his staff is stuck together. They believe in their philosophy. Just a year ago they were beat by Coffee County, and that would have been easy to throw rocks at the head coach or the coordinators or whatever, and ultimately they stuck together, and they believed, and they didn't have a bunch of kids leave the school. They didn't have a bunch of coaches leave the school. They stuck together, and they're paying they're reaping the benefits of that, and that's credit to Coach Kreisky and his staff and the people in that school that believe in him. And man, they got great support, and for them to have the season they're having, it just tells you what can be accomplished when everybody believes in that locker room, and so I'm sure they're excited for the rematch, and it's going to be a huge crowd. The crowd last time we played at kickoff, they said there were cars lined up bumper to bumper getting off I-24, and
Wow.
that's at the kickoff.
Yeah.
So you better buy the tickets early online.
They'll be in Las Casas out there parking somewhere.
And I'm sure with the weapons detection system and all that stuff, we'll probably get a jump start on it, 5:30. So get there early, get you a seat early, and should be a great matchup.
Now, y'all have your construction is all finished now.
That's right.
It looks really pretty. It's beautiful. Riverdale and Oakland both. But things look a little different. So when they get there, they're going to have to kind of maneuver their way. But basically, the parking is the same. It hasn't really been affected by anything, has it?
No, I think there's more parking now. But if you get there after 6 o'clock, you better just park at the middle school and walk.
That's probably wisest. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the best thing you can do, home or away fans. But yeah, it's not an issue like it has been the last 3 years. And, we got great people working the gates, and they'll get you in and out. Ultimately, that's exactly what you strive for, is to play on Thanksgiving. And now both schools are getting that privilege. It is a privilege to play, this week. And I think both fan bases need to come out and give the guys what they deserve. They deserve a great environment. And unfortunately, last night, I guess half our fan base probably went to watch the Blackman game. We had a lot of empty seats. That was not good at kickoff when you look over and Green Hills fans had already beat our fans. So it wasn't just that we got out coached or our guys got outplayed for 3 quarters. Our fans got whooped too. It was pretty embarrassing to look up and to see Green Hill, who was hungry and hadn't been in this situation before, just pack the stands and just get loud as all get out. And then you look up and we got half our section empty, student section not available. I mean, it was pretty embarrassing, but hopefully we've learned a valuable lesson from that, and we could use some support.
I think it's going to be a great crowd. I'm going to quiz you here. How many semifinals have you been with Trousdale County, everything combined? Do you know that number?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have our researcher Brian Barrett look that up, because that's got to be how many state
it's
championships?
11 for 11 here at Oakland, so that's a good accomplishment. And like I said, that's
a lot of people forget about your success at Trousdale County. I'm from there, so I don't forget that.
Yeah, we had some great runs, and that's where we got the slogan, if you're practicing on Thanksgiving, you had a great season. So that was ultimately our goal, and we made it there a lot back then as well.
Your wife would not know how to act if you don't play on, if you don't have a game after Thanksgiving, I guess.
Right. If I'm not eating Thanksgiving dinner out of a styrofoam plate because I'm at the field house, it's been a very depressing season. I can't remember the last time I went to a Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody knows not to expect me. They're probably happier that way anyway, because if I'm not playing, I'm probably a little grumpy sitting there watching the Cowboys lose anyway.
Yeah, and you'd probably just sit there and worry. I mean, if you had a game, right? I mean,
if I had a game.
Well, how does that work on? And I meant to ask Matt that, because it'd be the first time for them, I guess, in terms of that. But the process on, I guess it's Thursday, the Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
What is it? Morning practice and.
Yeah, it's morning practice, and try to get those guys out, because a lot of them have to travel. But we'll feed them a breakfast, and try to watch a little film. But ultimately, it's a glorified walkthrough. But it's been on the calendar since we handed out the calendar in the spring, and so we expect everybody to be there, and hopefully there's no exceptions. And the cool part, got this from Trousdale County as well, is we have a lot of alumni that come back, a lot of former players, and they watch practice and make sure things are still, being held to a high standard, and people are still practicing like they did back in the day, and just to kind of give those guys an attaboy for making it this far. And so it's cool to have former players come out that Thanksgiving morning, and a lot of them are from out of town, and they're back to see their families, and they come by and give a shout out to our guys. That's pretty neat.
Do you ever miss? I'm going way off in history now. Do you ever miss those days though with single A or whatever, double A football?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because it was a lot simpler, wasn't it, in terms of who you had? You got what you got, and you played with them, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's where we get the two-way players from. We learned a long time ago we didn't want our best players over on the sideline clapping when the game was on the line. We wanted them playing, and so that's kind of old school philosophy. But you know,
there's two names in Trousdale County: the Satterfields and Creasy, right?
no, there's not any Creasy's. But yeah, there's some Holders and there's some Harpers.
Right.
There's some Gregorys. You know, every championship game I ever won, I had a Harper, a Gregory, or a Holder on the team.
That's true. I knew some Gregorys too as well. Coach, good luck next week. And I said the same thing to Matt. It's going to be a great game. And wow, this hadn't happened in a long, long time, folks. So you better get a seat. Everybody get there because it's going to be packed. All right.
That's right.
Coach, good seeing you again. And we'll talk to you next time. I guess somewhere along the line. Maybe.
That sounds good.
All right. This portion of the show brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. That's going to be it for the Prentice Awesome Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Stay with us because coming up next, it's Cougar Corner.
At State Farm, when home and auto work as a team, you score.